I am with a psycho. Hey guys, so today is the first episode of Toxic Relationships. Toxic Relationships is going to be a series on my channel that includes people who are in toxic relationships and who have been in toxic relationships. So I'm going to be telling their stories to you guys, hopefully to help those who are in toxic relationships and don't really know the signs or how to get out of one, and also to those who have been in some, to share their story and hopefully give people some hope that it does get better, because I know being in toxic relationships, whether it's with a boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, whoever, it can be stressful and you can hold on to that luggage for a really long time. So my goal is to make people feel better and just to give hope. So today's episode is all about Belle. Now I will have more episodes on Belle, but this is the first one that I'm going to introduce to you guys so that you guys can get the picture of everyone else. I won't only be telling other people's stories, I will also be telling my story, but I definitely want to have a variety of stories so that you guys can see the different types of toxic relationships that there are.
These are their stories.
So Belle at this time is 18 years old, and so she's dating this guy, and we're gonna call him Frosty. A few weeks into Belle and Frosty's relationship, she's realizing that the bond between her and Frosty's mom wasn't good. Their relationship was more so arguments and disagreements all the time. The biggest problem between Belle and Frosty's mom was that Frosty's mom believed that Belle wanted to have Frosty's baby to lock him down. Now, Belle at no point in time ever discussed her wanting to have kids with Frosty. She didn't even want kids. She never discussed wanting a baby. It was strange to her to have this woman believe that she wanted to get pregnant by her son, when in fact she never wanted to have kids, especially at this moment, graduating from high school and about to head to college. She didn't want to have a kid at this time. So that was like the biggest argument that was always prompted every time that they were around each other. The mother would always say something in those lines, always trying to degrade her basically. Belle didn't fit Frosty's mom's criteria to being a girlfriend, a wife, or anything in that nature. This ultimately caused stress for Frosty and Belle. Their relationship became more so arguments than happy times. So her breaking point was one day on Thanksgiving. She wanted to spend Thanksgiving with Frosty and his family. They have about 3 months in their relationship. So Belle realized this relationship was gonna go nowhere. Like, this was the end of her relationship, and I'm gonna explain to you why. She knew that she couldn't go hang out at his family's house on a special day like Thanksgiving, where we all are supposed to be thankful for one another and thankful for all the things that we have been given. She's realizing, like, I can't be with this man. So after realizing that, she breaks down, she's heartbroken. She has no idea what to do, especially for the fact that she can't go talk to her boyfriend about this anymore because there's nothing that he can do. Frosty never did anything when Belle and Frosty's mom argued. He would just sit there in the corner. He wouldn't defend her. He wouldn't tell his mom, like, hey, like, this is a lie. I've been with this girl for a long time, I know what she's like. I know she doesn't want to just be with me, to have kids with me, or take my money or anything like that. So knowing all of that, she didn't confide in him. She didn't tell him exactly how she felt anymore because it was just pointless. So she's crying hysterically, and she texts one of her long-term friends. We're gonna call him Mr. Toxic. Now this storyline is all about Mr. Toxic and Belle. Toxic was always there for Belle. So this point in time, it wasn't different for them, Belle usually vented to Toxic, so this wasn't anything new. So she takes her phone, and she starts telling him, like, hey, like, I'm going through this, I can't spend time with my boyfriend, like, all of this shit sucks. It's annoying that I have to be in this kind of relationship, especially with someone who doesn't defend me or who even fights for me. He's like, okay, so you can come over to my house. Belle got dressed and headed over to Toxic's house. So at this time, Toxic had just gotten a new apartment. So they were just catching up with each other and talking about old time things or whatever. The following week comes and Belle goes over again. And this time, it was a time for her to actually remember exactly what happened, because this like signified their relationship. So Frosty is over here like, oh my god, please take me back. My mom understands exactly what was going on, you know, she's willing to make amends now. And Belle was just not with it anymore. She was just like, fuck that. Like, you had all this time to sit here and defend me, and now all of a sudden, because you see that I want to move on and better my life, you think that I'm going to just take you back? Like, for no reason, basically. Like, no, you had all this time to talk to your mom, to defend me, and do all of the things that a boyfriend should do, but you never did. So she's venting to Toxic, telling him all of this stuff, and this one night she got really fucked up. She was drunk out of her mind. She was drinking that brown liquor and she was just done. Like, it was just a wrap for her. So she gets really sick, like, you know, vomiting and all of that stuff that happens when you get drunk. And he takes care of her, like, to the best of his abilities. Toxic took care of Belle. He did as good as he could do, as good as any regular person would. Now Belle took this as like, I have to be with this guy now, you know, he took care of me, we had sex, like, this is now going to be my boyfriend. She solidifies their relationship. Christmas rolls around, everything's cool. New Year's rolls around, cool. Now February starts trickling in, you know, and this specific day is what marks her entire journey of being with Mr. Toxic. Mr. Toxic is now showing signs of attachment issues. He has a problem letting her leave the house. So she could go to work, but when she was done with work, she had to come back home. She couldn't go to her actual house where her family lived. She couldn't hang out with friends. She couldn't do anything but go to work and hang out with him. So this one night, Toxic was inviting his friends over. They were gonna have like a little coro, like a little party. His co-workers and his roommates that were living in the apartment. Now, this specific night, Belle had an appointment the next day. So when she found out that he was having the coro, she decided to pack her bag and head to her family's house where she actually lived, you know. It had only been like, what, 2-3 months that they were together. So basically she was just like spending the night over there, you know. She wasn't living there actually. She's like, hey, so I'm gonna go home now. I will see you during the week. He literally, like, his whole entire vibe just changed, like a whole entire 180. This man was like, are you fucking serious? Like, how could you leave me? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, no, you're not going anywhere. So the cab calls and she's like, I really have to go. He throws the money at her and she literally, as she was going to pick up the money, she starts to cry. Not crying hysterically, but you know, when you get teary-eyed, her eyes start to water. He looks at her and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you even crying? She's like, are you serious? Like, you're being mad fucked up right now. I haven't even done anything to you. I'm just gonna go home. He basically took it as an insult. So she gets out of the room, she starts walking to the living room to say bye, and then she heads out to the door. Toxic is following her, so she goes to turn around and say bye to him again, and he just closes the door in her face. So now she gets inside the cab. She's crying hysterically, like, what the fuck did I do to this man? Like, she's feeling literally guilt. Like, her chest is heavy. She's just crying like, what the fuck did I do so wrong to this man to have him treat me this bad? I didn't do anything to him at all. If anything, I am giving you space now to hang out with your coworkers. I will be back. It's not like you and I are breaking up. So I'm gonna go spend time with my family and I'm going to a appointment. I'm not gonna go hang out with another man. Like, you know how much I care about you, you know? So this was the point that Belle realized, I'm with a psycho. The next morning, she wakes up and she's just like, what the fuck happened anyways last night? She looks at her phone and she has a text from Mr. Toxic. He's now acting as though nothing happened last night. He sent her a text that entailed, good morning, beautiful. I was just upset last night. I really miss you a lot when you aren't next to me. I'm sorry for everything I did yesterday. She's now thinking like, is he fucking crazy? Or am I fucking crazy? So throughout their relationship, you know, he was always guilt tripping her. She always felt like shit because he would lash out and then apologize. So it was like sour and then sweet. This was a time where she realized he had abandonment issues, mommy issues, you know. He always threw at her like, oh, you're just gonna leave me like my mother did. Like, nobody loves me and nobody stays around to be with me. So for 2 years, 2 long motherfucking years, she was going through hell. Like, this was her hell on earth. She was literally living it every single day, going on trips and all of these crazy things. In the episodes that are to follow, I will have more stories on Belle and toxic relationship. Now, I just want to say, if you are going through this and you aren't sure exactly like what's happening and you are trying your hardest to be in this relationship, I would definitely say to either 1, talk about exactly what you're feeling, or 2, just nip it in the fucking butt and get the fuck out of the relationship, because it just gets worse. These kinds of relationships never really get better, ever. They just always get worse. Honestly speaking, like in Belle's story, you guys will hear about the time where she almost like literally died. For real died. So that just goes to show you like how serious things can get with just these little signs that you see here and there. You know, you're not able to wear certain clothing, or you're not able to go certain places, or you're not able to do certain things. If you have gone through this and want me to tell your story, just let me know. You could DM me or write it in the comments. I'll give you my email or whatever. I had to stop myself so many times from crying in this video, especially when I heard the stories, especially like when everything came out to the light. It was very difficult for me to hear and watch, and I know that it gets harder and harder, but I just really want to bring awareness to this situation. This is something that's very important to me. So yeah, I just hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely comment down below if you have gone through something like this, or just anything to inspire people that have been in toxic relationships and like want to get out. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys soon. By the way, do you like my new setup? If you got this far and you do, leave a comment down below and red the color blue. My shirt goes like this, by the way.